lesson is on how to convert customary measures. And a lot of it has to do with solving proportions and unit rate, same thing we've been learning for a long time. So notice here it says 2T. Well, a capital T like that means tons, equals how many pounds. So it's a ratio, a relationship between tons and pounds. So I'm going to write that down here. I'm going to write tons. I'm going to write capital T for ton, and I'm going to write LB for pounds. So let's go back here and to the reteaching side of our homework and see if we can find out here. Well, let's see. 1 ton equals 2,000 pounds. 1 ton equals 2,000 pounds. So there are 2,000 pounds in 1 ton. So our unit rate is 1 ton equals 2,000 pounds. But they want to know how much is it for 2 tons. So 2 tons equals X amount of pounds. Well, pretty much we can solve this by cross multiplication, but since we have a unit rate here, it might just be simpler just to multiply. How do I turn 1 into 2? 1 times 2 is 2, and so I create my magic 1 of 2 over 2. 2,000 times 2 equals 4,000. So X equals 4,000. So in 2 tons, there are 4,000 pounds. Yes, this is a unit rate. I know my 1 is up here instead of being the second number in the ratio. I can do it that way as well. Let me show you. Pounds to tons. How many pounds? 2,000 pounds in 1 ton, and they want to know for 2 tons. So let's solve that. How do I turn 1 into 2? I can multiply by 2. 1 times 2 is 2. 2,000 times 2 is 4,000. So I get the same answer, that it equals 4,000 pounds. Remember that ratios can be written a number of different ways. That's why we label them, so we know we have them correct. So let's take a look at a couple of others. We have gallons and pints. 4 gallons equals how many pints? So we're comparing gallons to pints. Let's take a look at our chart back here. And let's see, gallons equals quarts. Wait a second. It doesn't tell me how many pints are in a gallon. So I may have to do some thinking here and figure that out. Gallons to quarts. And so I'm going to have to try this out. I have 4 quarts in 1 gallon, and I have 2 pints in 1 quart. So let's see if we can figure this out here. All right, I have a relationship of gallons to quarts, and I have a relationship of quarts to pints. So I have, let's be sure and check to make sure we have it correct. I have 2 pints in 1 quart and 4 quarts in 1 gallon. Two pints in 1 quart and 4 quarts in 1 gallon. Let's solve this one here first. How do I turn this into 4 quarts? So I have, and I want to solve for 4 quarts because there are 4 quarts in a gallon. So I know there's 2 pints in 1 quart and 4 quarts in a gallon. So let's take a look at that. How do I turn 1 into 4? I multiply times 4. 1 times 4 is 4, and 2 times 4 is 8. That means there must be 8 pints in 1 gallon. Let's find out. So let's find out how many there are in 4 gallons. Okay, so there are 8 pints in 1 gallon. So let's see, 8 pints in 1 gallon, and we want to know how many for 4 gallons. Well, how do I turn 1 into 4? I multiply times 4. And 8 times 4 is 32. So there are 32 pints in 4 gallons because there are 8 pints in 1 gallon. Let's take a look at 6.5 pounds and find out how many ounces there are in 6.5, or as we commonly say it, 6.5 pounds. So what are we comparing? We're comparing pounds to ounces. Comparing pounds to ounces. Let's take a look. Going back one, let's find out where that's at. So we have 16 ounces in 1 pound. 16 ounces in 1 pound. So let's go back here and, well, we wrote pound up here. So 1 pound is equal to 16 ounces. And they want to know how much for 6.5 pounds. How do we solve this problem? Well, we can multiply by 6.5 times 6.5, which means we have to multiply this by 6.5. 16 times 6.5. So let's write that over here. 16 times 6.5. Don't forget your decimal. 5 times 6 is 30. 5 times 1 is 5, plus 3 is 8. 6 times 6 is 36. Oh, fortunately we have a 3 here already. 6 times 1 is 6, plus 3 is 9. Let's add that together. 0 plus 0, 0. 8 plus 6 is 14. 9 plus 1 is 10. We have one decimal place here. By the way, this is multiplication, not a decimal. I don't want you to get confused here. So our answer is 104 ounces in 6.5 pounds, because X equals 104, because we multiplied 16 times 6.5. So 104 ounces. Let's do one more here. We have 4.5 quarts equals how many cups? So we're comparing quarts to cups. Let's check our information on the reteaching side, and we find quarts. Well, we have pints and we have cups. So we have 2 cups in 1 pint and 2 pints in 1 quart. So it's a relationship of cups to pints and pints to quarts. Let's see, let's do this over here. Cups to pints and pints to quarts. Now, there are 2 cups in 1 pint and 2 pints in 1 quart. So we need to find out how many cups there are in 2 pints. So let's set this here. 2 pints. How do I turn 1 into 2? I multiply times 2, and that's a magic 1 of 2 over 2, and 2 times 2 is 4. So there are 4 cups in 2 pints, and that means there are 4 cups in 1 quart. So for 1 quart there are 4 cups, and they want to know how many for 4.5 quarts. So let's write that down. 4.5 quarts, and we don't know how many. This time let's cross multiply. 1 times x. 1 times x is x. It's 1x. 1 times x is x. Remember, there's an invisible 1 here next to the x. We don't need to write that 1 times x. We can just write 1x because we understand that they're all, every number. This is 1 times 4,000 is 4,000. 1 times 32 is 32. 1 times 104 is 104. So 1 times x is x. So we understand that. X equals 4 times 4.5. 4 times 4.5. Let's do that math. 4.5. We'll put that on top since there's two numbers. Times 4. 4 times 5 is 20. 4 times 4 is 16. Plus 2 is 18. We have a decimal here. So the answer here is x equals 18. So there are 18 cups in 4.5 quarts.